From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth sales check update of 2022. In this reporting, we go over the breaking news of the Build Back Better Act, which will get passed, says the White House, and a new letter from Congress to the White House. Then we'll be turning to the CR for stimulus. Joe Biden taking a new attack at it today. All the latest on that. SS300 heating up minutes ago with the producer price index release. What does it say about inflation? And Jay Powell testified at that FOMC meeting in minutes. One, what happened with your SS benefits? I have the latest details in today's recording. Then we look at six stimulus heating up. Incredible money in that six stimulus issued. And the developing details of holding overnight bigger as energy prices surge the other direction as a potential deal could be in the works. What happened? All the latest details. Then as the toast is toasted and the butter is buttered, also floating is Russia's debt. And Russia could default by the end of today. All the latest details as well. Then we'll be looking at those $80,000 checks. Yeah, you heard me right. $80,000 checks are gone live. Have you gotten big sums of money? We'll be looking at those checks, and then I have my commentary in the very final minutes of this video. It's $80,000 of checks, and see the final minutes of this video, I'll have my commentary about these checks you've never heard before. Plus, we'll have a preview of tonight's evening's LA broadcast. It's in prime time. It's 5 o'clock West Coast, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be breaking developing details about Build Back's six stimulus and your $80,000 check. Plus, a new success story for the third stimulus as one viewer overnight got $20,000. The toast is toasted and the butter is buttering, folks. As the beautiful Mornings LA heats up in the shores of Santa Monica, live on air. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for the big checks. We'll go over all those checks starting right now as Mornings LA gets underway, starting this beautiful morning. Any audio problems? Good God. Lord. Let's try our trick from yesterday. Where we queued up some audio and we cleared it up. And that did not work. Did it work? It did not work. Let's use our other trick from yesterday. Oh, Lord. Oh, cleared. All right. Okay, it did work. So how is everybody? It's a beautiful day. We're looking at lots of checks across the land as $80,000 of checks have now gone live. And the huge details of those checks are featured in the final minutes of this video. We'll go over those checks in just a second. Then we'll be looking at the breaking news as a new inflation numbers released this morning that signals where that SSI and SSDI VA benefits could go. It's the SS300, all the latest details on that. Plus, we have the latest developing details about six stimulus. Major developments overnight on the energy situation. Could a big deal be in the works? Yeah, I'm surprised by it, but is it fact or is it fiction? Then we'll be looking at the big money that heats up across the land and also the exciting details of Build Back Better, and we're going to go right into Build Back Better to start. The Build Back Better Act is a subject of a new letter from Congress to the White House, and also the subject of new comments by the White House. The Build Back Better, the fourth stimulus recon will get passed, says the Congress and the White House in a series of new exchanges. That letter was detailed yesterday on Mornings LA live on air and will be featured tonight in prime time in Evenings LA, America's most watched show in prime time. Watch that show tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But first, let's go over an overview of those checks in the Build Back Better Act. 3 clusters of checks, 3 add-ons that pay you a lot of money. Let's look at each of them starting right now. In the Build Back Better Act, there is the first, second, and third cluster checks and then the add-on. In the first cluster checks, we have the hazard pay and $4,000 of elder care. Incredible money. Plus the children's check, the CTC, one more year, the money for caring for young children, the Pell Grant $550 check, and the money to repair your home if you live in a community, a low-income community. That is the first of three cluster checks in the Build Back Better Act that the White House and those legislators, now in exchange of letters, say they're going to pass. Huge, great news. Now, remember, the Build Back Better Act has about $15,000 to $60,000 to $80,000 checks in there. But the first add-on to checks comes from Maxine Waters, just a little bit less than $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Wow. How do you get these checks? Tune in tonight to Evenings LALATE in prime time. I'm going to go over all these incredible checks, including now the second cluster. Let's turn to that right now. Home repairs and paid leave. Paid leave is $4,000 to $6,000 a year. Wow. And the home repairs, how do you get those checks? They will be featured in tonight's Evenings LALATE broadcast in prime time, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The second add-on of checks comes from Bob Casey, just a little bit less than $250 billion for free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. It's incredible. And that is the second of three clusters, a second add-on of checks. Now let's look at the third cluster of checks, where we find true deliciousness this morning live on air from Santa Monica, California. We have the seniors on the free internet checks, the farmers checks, the independent contractors, and the seniors, lots of checks, dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age at Medicare. Plus the hearing checks, which is par for the course when we're talking about adding checks to this recon. The third add-on checks would be, yes, MSC. MSC, monthly IRS stimulus checks that come to you on a monthly basis from IRS, says the legislators to viewership of this channel. Who would get it? Tonight on Evenings LALATE, we'll go over these checks one at a time. But remember, the legislators represent the eligibility would be the same as a third. So single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, you get as well, double it. And a family of four, quadruple it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, veterans benefits, or adult dependents, you get it as well. How do you get these incredible checks? Tune in tonight on the Evenings LALATE, 5 o'clock Pacific, 7 Central. We'll go over those MFC. Remember, these are among the checks that would be added to the Build Back Better Act that already has $15,000 to $70,000 of checks already in there. Now, in just a second, we're going to go to this map, which is the fourth stimulus add-on. It's live. It's law. Unlike Build Back Better Act, which is not law yet, this is law. And $80,000 of stimulus checks are being paid out across the country. Have you got to them? If you haven't, stay to the second half of this video. It's for you. If you're a member, good. Get ready. If you're not a member, become a member. The link is under the video on the top of the chat, because we're going to go over how to get these $80,000 of checks in just a second. But heating right now is the FOMC meeting. The FOMC meeting with Jay Powell is to battle the questions of its recession and also inflation. And Jay Powell, his job is to raise the interest rates in the United States to bring down inflation. This is teeing up the question mark of SS300. What do you need to know? Let's look at the situation right now at the time of this recording. First, SS300 is getting major developing details, breaking news right now. A new benchmark was released this morning, and what was it? The PPI number. The PPI number follows the CPI number from last Thursday. The CPI number last Thursday showed us at a very strong inflation number, 8% for the month of January, which follows the 8% inflation number for December. So what was the PPI number obtained by LA News just minutes ago? You're hearing for the first time on the channel. It came in at 0.8%. Wall Street was looking for 0.9 to 0.10%, so it missed expectations. It was not as hot for inflation as Wall Street was expecting. A sigh of relief? Yes, breathe. Breathe. A long-term sigh of relief, not a long-term sigh of relief. So it missed the benchmark. It was a little bit weaker on the inflationary front. What do you translate that to? Much of nothing. Wall Street overshot the situation. Immediately, the Dow Jones was up 328 points on the news, thinking that maybe inflation long-term was lower. No, misread the numbers. It's just a small miss. and it doesn't mean anything much at all. Gene Goldman, Chief Investment Officer at Cetera Markets, says the market is just jittery. The market is so concerned about these issues that as soon as it sees a miss of a number, it moves. Am I concerned? No. What am I bigger concerned about? Today, the FOMC meeting will happen. Two-day meeting. Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, will speak at the FOMC meeting. And what is he going to talk about? We will see. And we'll have the details in prime time on Evenings LA. But this is what you need to know. We're watching Jay Powell today and tomorrow. The FOMC meeting of March 15th and March 16th. This is the March 2022 meeting. He will potentially give us guidance of what he's going to do with inflation next meeting, the April meeting. Why is this important? Because Joe Biden needs to swap out that COLA for inflation now. We're okay for March because we're tracking at 8%. We're okay for early April because we're likely still to be tracking at 8% then. But the question mark is late April. Jay Powell, what is he going to do at that April FOMC meeting? We'll likely hear potentially today or tomorrow some guidance what Jay Powell is going to do at that April meeting. If he gives us an indication that he's going to do a half basis point more aggressive than the March meeting of a quarter basis point, then guess what? Joe Biden has to move quickly. He has to swap that COLA for inflation because you want him to swap it out right now. How does this work? Your current benchmark is COLA. And by swapping out COLA for inflation, you lock in a generation of benefits. Let's go over the analysis. Inflation is tracking its highest price point of a generation right now, 8%. Joe Biden understands that. Jay Powell understands that. But Jay Powell's job is to bring down inflation. He's going to do a quarter basis point this month at the meeting today. We already know that. He told us last month. But what is he going to do in April? We don't know yet. And you have to hope that he does a quarter again, not a half. If he does a half, it will shoot down inflation quickly, potentially 6%, because that will beat what Wall Street's expecting, a quarter basis point next month. And this is why Joe Biden needs to swap the COLA right today. Let me explain to you why. Inflation is at its highest price point right today. If you swap it out today, it will raise your benefits up $200 a month, not just this month, not just this year, but a lifetime. Yes. If we wait for inflation to come down to 6% after two interest rate spikes from Jay Powell, you don't know how much of a benefit you get from that. Maybe $170, maybe $180. Yeah, you want to swap it out now. So what else did happen today? What also happened today is that we also had some other numbers for economics. And the other numbers are the bond market. Jay Powell is looking at a series of benchmarks. One, last Thursday's number, the CPI came in at 8% for inflation for January. Number two, he's watching the bond market. The bond market on Friday, Monday, and potentially today as well, is trading up the 10-year Treasury note. Why? Because bond traders believe that currently the situation may be more inflation higher than we're actually seeing. The latest Treasury year, the 10-year Treasury note surged to 2.018% on Monday. That's the highest number we've seen on this channel since 2019. In fact, this channel didn't even exist in 2019. So Joe Biden and Jay Powell is watching this with a two-day policy meeting, the FOMC today and tomorrow, because guess what? These are all suggestions that maybe inflation is a little bit higher and maybe suggestions for Jay Powell to come in more aggressively. How does this line up? I'll feature this more tonight in Evenings LA in prime time on that special broadcast, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You don't want to miss that because I will go over what happened with the bond yields today. I'll go over what Jay Powell did today at the FOMC meeting. We have a lot of turning events in the next few hours, and it's all coming up tonight in prime time. All right, let's turn to that CR for stimulus. Fascinating. The CR for stimulus did not get a $2,000 stimulus check, but got county stimulus in there. Wow, this is shocking. In 2020, I made history by advocating for the inclusion of a stimulus check in the December 2020 CR. At the time, the pushback was, it doesn't belong in there. Continuing resolution, the CR is money for the federal government. Well, guess what happened? Last week, the legislators must have been watching this channel. They got county stimulus in there. Yes, county stimulus. Does it belong in a CR? It maybe doesn't, but they got it in there, and it's huge. If you're in a respective county, reach out to your county or open your local county news. They feature it right now. Counties like the counties in Georgia got big county stimulus in there across the board. So why am I bringing up Joe's picture? Because Joe is back with another CR this week. His press secretary, Jen Psaki, expressed the president's concern that he did not get his COVID money in the CR. So Joe Biden is coming back with another CR in the next few days because they need more money for COVID. We need more money for another stimulus check. So advocate, there could be the possibility to get a stimulus check in this latest round from Joe Biden. I'll watch it, and as soon as that new CR effort from Joe is unveiled, I'll feature it on this channel. But let's turn to the great news of this map. $80,000 of stimulus checks are now live, and it's this map. What is it? Let's go over the details of it right now. 2 Fridays ago, the White House announced $80,000 of stimulus checks going out to you. And immediately that Friday, I featured it on this channel in prime time. Guess what also happened? No one else covered it. Print, broadcast, or anyone else. It was a buried news story, sort of like the EIDL. You'll never hear this anywhere else. And what you need to know is that the following Monday, I told you it was going live. It did go live. And we'll go over what going live is after the commercial break. We'll go over how to get this money after the commercial break. And stay to the final 5 minutes of this video because I'll have more insight about how to get this money and my commentary for you on getting this money. What you need to know is that you need to become a member. The membership link is at the top of the video and under the video's description. As soon as it was announced by the White House 2 Fridays ago, I added it to the membership newsletter. And the members that day immediately started applying. And it's been in every membership newsletter, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. The members have been applying lifeline night and day, and you need to apply because it's first come, first serve. How do you get these big sums of money? It's coming up in the second half of this video. We'll be going over this $80,000 of checks and how you get it. Number 1. Then we'll be turning to 6 stimulus. There's breaking news. The price of gasoline fell overnight from $1.40 at its height in the last 2 weeks to what is it now? You're going to be shocked. But I'm also going to tell you why, and you're going to be shocked additionally. Then we'll be looking at 6 stimulus. And Vladimir Putin, he's about to shake in his socks, in his feet. He's about to get sweaty in just a few days. Why? Billions of dollars of default, and you're going to hear the date and the count and why this may be the end of the war or the end of Putin. I'll have the breaking details of why it's also the start of your 6th stimulus. It's huge, and you've never seen these numbers before until today's recording. That's coming up in the second half of this video, and more money and my commentary, but see you back in 60 seconds as Mornings LALATE live on air continues from the shores of Santa Monica.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues. Live on air from Mornings LALATE as we go into the big second half, and those $80,000 of checks. I'm going to go over how to get them in the second half, plus my commentary in the final 5 minutes. Stay to the very end. It's going to show you more insight about how to get these checks. Then we'll be looking at sixth stimulus, which is heating up, and it's to battle Putin and to also battle the R word, recession. But first, we're going to start with the exciting details of this $80,000 of checks, how you get it, and what you need to do. First, I want to welcome the 2 members who just joined during the commercial break, Willette, and also, now 3 members, and also Dalton, and just at the time, Brent. Welcome all of those 3 to the Purple Power family. Let's go over the details of these $80,000 of checks starting right now. First, we're going to go over the money, the eligibility, and all the application process. The President of the United States unveiling 2 Fridays ago this program. It's called the Homeowners Grant. The complete name of it is featured in the membership newsletter. Let's go over the money. $15,000 to $80,000 per household. So while we talk about third stimulus, things like doubling it, married couple, you don't double the $15,000 to $80,000. It's per household. Number 2, the income qualification is the same as a third stimulus check. So if you got a third stimulus check, you're in the income qualification. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you can get it. Number 3, if you're on benefits, you can qualify. All you have to be is owning a home and within the zone of that income qualifications. So yes, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, if you're in the zone of income qualification, you can get it. So what happens? You have to own a home to get this money. If you rent, stay with me. As WR correctly said during the commercial break to one other viewer, if you're a renter, you can get third stimulus. If you're a homeowner, you can also get third stimulus. It's coming up later in this video. If you're a homeowner, you can get this sum of money. All right, let's go over what this is. 2 Fridays ago, it was announced by the White House, and immediately I floated it into the membership newsletter. I have in the membership newsletter for you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every day, that Monday through Friday. This details. First, I have the name of the grant. It is a grant, so it's not a loan. You do not have to do a credit check for it, and you do not have to pay it back. Number 2, I have the name of the program, the link. So the link will send you into the portal. Will then route you to your respective state. Number 3, I have in there the income qualification we just went over. Number 4, I have in there what it pays for. It pays for the great stuff that many viewers have wanted coverage for, and we've never had it to this day, like mortgage assistance, like utilities bills, property taxes, homeowners association fees, and other unusual items like that, all covered. Now, how do you apply and when do you apply? This is what's very important. You apply immediately. You do not wait. It is first come, first serve. Let's look at that map together to understand the situation. This heralds us back to the very first day of this channel, April 25th, where I said, if a program's accepting applications in pre-submittal, you submit them right now. You don't wait for them to be in the mode to pay. There's 2 modes. One, the first mode, where they're accepting your application. And the second mode, where they're accepting your application and they're paying. You don't wait for the second mode. You get the application first, because it's first come, first serve. They will pay based upon whose application is first in line. So let's look at the map. Teal, California, Florida, Texas. These are states that are receiving the application and are paying on the application right now. Ohio, Nevada, Mississippi, South Carolina, pink. That means they're receiving the application, but they're not paying yet. That means you apply today. You apply immediately. Now, if your state is a state that is not open with the application at the time of this recording, look later today. You want to pounce, Purple Hawks. You want to get the application on file as soon as they receive the application. You do not want to wait till your state is teal. You want to get the application as soon as they allow you to put the application in. Here's a success story. Here is Beatrice Guzman. She's not a Purple Hawk, but she listened to the video, and she did herself. She said, I listened to LA, and I got an application on file. I'm in Texas. I'm first in line. Good job. Let's go back to that map. Get that application on file, because guess what? You don't want to wait till your state turns to teal. You want to get it on file right now. And if your state is a state that doesn't have it live yet to receive the application, keep on checking every 2 or 3 hours because it could go live any moment. Later in this video, I'll go over my commentary and more about how to get those checks. But for now, what you need to do is the following. Go under this video, go to the top of this video, and click the member link. Click the member link to get the membership newsletter. At the front of the newsletter, at the top of the newsletter, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system, it features the application. It features the link, the name, the eligibility, the items you need to know. The membership newsletter also features third stimulus coming up later in this video. So become a member today. Remember, the membership newsletter is delivered by the YouTube alerts. So if you got an alert about this video now playing, you are getting YouTube alerts. It's sent 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Become a member today and get those $8,000 of checks. Stay to the very end. I have more about these checks in just a second at the very end of this video. All right, now let's turn to 6 stimulus. Major development details of 6 stimulus overnight. And boy, folks, this is a very fluid situation. 6 stimulus is unlike anything we see on this channel. First stimulus was because of COVID. Second stimulus was to be for COVID. It never became law. Third stimulus was coming out of COVID. Fourth stimulus is coming out of COVID, the Build Back Better Act. Fifth stimulus is still happening. That is for seniors and people on disabilities. It is still happening. So we need to keep on point for fifth stimulus. People have been asking about it. And then sixth stimulus is because of Putin. Sixth stimulus started 2 weeks ago. Let me tell you what sixth stimulus is, and let's go over all the details. Sixth stimulus started 2 weeks ago when Anthony Blinken, your Secretary of State, reached out to our partner allies like Germany and France, said, get off of Russian stuff like oil. They said, we can't. We're too dependent upon it. Then they pivoted and they said, you're right. Morally, we must get off of Russian products. So in getting off of Russian products, France and Germany understand that they need to do what? Number one, they have to debt spend. They have to raise their national debts, France, Germany, and the United States. And in raising their national debts, they will then give stimulus to their citizens. How does it work? They all understand, France, Germany, and the United States, that no one can afford the price of gasoline now or 2 months from now unless they get stimulus from their government, which they need because the price is not coming down. If they don't get that stimulus, then their economies go into recession. France, Germany, and the United States all have progressive leaders. They are Joe Biden, the German Chancellor, and France's leader, President Macron, who's up for re-election in April. This is when sixth stimulus would likely happen because we're waiting to see if Macron gets reelected. If he gets reelected, then the trifecta would do this on an international, national, and state-by-state basis. What is a state-by-state basis? The first time I recorded a sixth stimulus video on March 8th, that night, after Evenings LALATE in prime time, America's most watched show, state governors came out and said, we're doing state stimulus to buffer the concerns of a recession because of the energy shortage. So you're going to see this on a state level, on a national level from Joe Biden, and an international level from those partner allies, Germany, France, and the United States. Where does sixth stimulus heat up? There are 3 prongs to it. Prong number 1 is oil. Prong number 2 is wheat and the commodities. And prong number 3 is the banking industry. Prong number 4 is China. What is the update today? Update number 1, oil. Oil went down dramatically today. Why did it go down? There's a potential deal in the works. Is the deal really happening or is it rumor? And will sixth stimulus still happen? I have that in just a second. Then wheat. Wheat is surging out of control. And now today we see that some of our partner allies are 80% dependent on Russia for wheat. This is a major catastrophe about to happen. All the latest details on that and why sixth stimulus is needed because of wheat. Number 3 is the banking industry. One bank this morning announced its exposure to Russia. I've been featuring this for 3 days. This is what could send us to a major recession. Banking industry's investments in Russia about to become devalueless. I have the breaking news on that in just a second, and then finally China, and finally your money. All right, let's go over each of these breaking, developing details one at a time. And boy, folks, I told you it's a big recording. It's a big recording. We'll have more about it tonight on EV's LA. Number one, oil. Oil may have a deal. Really? Or rumor. Let's go over the details. The price of oil is dropping dramatically. In the last 2 weeks since Russia invaded Ukraine, the price of Brent crude internationally surged from $100 day one of the invasion to $140. Where's it today? Today started at 96. It was 98 about 2 hours ago, and then it's about 100 right now. Why did it drop so dramatically? It had been dropping the last few days, but analysts think there's two possibilities. One, speculative trading, no value, no substance of why it fell. Or number two, Lazarov. I think it's the first one. Let me go to the second one. Sergei Lavrov, who's that guy you know don't like. No one likes him. He's the Russian foreign minister who sits at the UN and lies all the time. He said today that there may be a resuming of the talks with Iran. What is this? If you've been watching Evenings LA, there's a way to get gasoline to us and our partner allies. The partner allies eat gasoline more importantly than we do because we're only 3% dependent on Russia. Remember, if they don't get gasoline, they go into recession and they bring us into recession as well. So what did Lavrov say? And do we believe him? He said that the negotiations that were ended on Sunday are back on. What are these negotiations? For several months, the White House has been negotiating with Iran. Iran has been the subject of an embargo since 2015 because of its nuclear warheads. The embargo is the following. Disarm your nuclear warheads, and then we will lift the sanctions and allow your oil to go back into our country and our partner countries. Folks, if Iranian oil comes into our country, you're going to see $1 at the pump. It's absolutely incredible. But the problem is featured on the channel for 2 weeks is that the deal is about, 3 months out. Well, the deal was off last Saturday. If you watch Evenings LA last Saturday, I told you that suddenly Vladimir Putin stepped in and told Iran stop negotiating and the talks, and they did. They ended the talks in Vienna, and the United States, Germany, and France were dumbfounded. They were shocked. So Lavrov today, the foreign minister of Putin, says the talks are back on. Rumor. I don't buy it. I think it's rumor. Until I see the talks resuming, and I'll watch it throughout today, I think it's rumor. In fact, it's such a rumor, I didn't see it really covered anywhere. Number two, why is gas dropping? The analysts think it's just bad trading antics. I really think that's the case. I don't think there's any substance to it following. I think it's just trading antics. That's what Jeffrey Hall, senior market analyst at Onada, says. It's like the old adage, the best cure for higher prices is higher prices. He just thinks it's just people trading like a game stock or like a meme stock. I think that's really what's happening. So the oil situation, good today, but likely not good tomorrow. I'll have more about this analysis on prime time in the Evenings LA. Second, wheat. Boy, folks, I've been featuring wheat since day 3 of the invasion. Today, bad news. We learned today that you're hearing me right, 80% of our partners, allies, wheat to make their bread comes from Russia and Ukraine. This is horrible news. And we're hearing that some non-partner countries like Egypt, even worse, 80, 85%, maybe 90%. This is horrible. This is horrible. Why? The Black Sea produces this wheat. And the Black Sea, there's no harvesting of the wheat. Why? Because the farmers are battling the war in Ukraine. Number 2. So the crop is lost right now for this season, and next season it's not getting ready because they're not tending the soil to prepare for next season. They're battling a war. Even worse, the soil may be lost for seasons to come because guess what? There's cluster bombing in the region. The invasion may be ruining the crops for seasons to come. 80% of your wheat. Yes, people in the live chat have been chatting daily. I've seen the bread go up. Folks, this is very bad news. If you pay $1 a loaf $2 a loaf, $3 a loaf. This could send us to $10 a loaf because the wheat is out of control. Tonight on Street and Stimulus, I'll feature more about why the wheat crisis, more so than oil, could send us into a major recession. Here's the takeaway right now. Oil is a simple solution because all you do is you put the oil on a ship from another country and ship it out. In 2 weeks it's solved. Wheat could be years at coming. So this is why 6 stimulus is needed. We could really go under. The banking industry, this is where it got absolutely ridiculous this morning. A major brokerage firm, who I'm not going to name because I think this is ridiculous, the quote, said that its exposure to Russia is fine for 2 months. Okay, everyone who heard this quote laughed because it's the most ridiculous quote. The problem is that we do not know the exposure of U.S. banks to Russian bonds and equities at the time of this recording. And if they have big exposure, they are going to take a major hit and could go under. U.S. banks could go under. What do we know right now? We know right now a very bad situation is unfolding in just a few days. And that just a few days, I'm going to tell you the numbers right now. You've never heard these numbers until today. And are you ready? April 4th, get ready for this number. On April 4th, Vladimir Putin has a very serious situation on your hand. But let me give you all the numbers. Within 24 hours, potentially by tonight's evening's LA broadcast and prime time, that's when you want to tune in, Vladimir Putin may default. The Russian economy may default tonight, but it's a little bit more elaborate than that. The debt obligation due March 16th is $73 million of interest payment, no principal. So it's not that much, $73 million. Then there's another $44 million due tonight as well. Again, not that much money. March 21st, $66 million in interest. Again, not that much. March 28th, $102 million for interest. Not that much. Okay, March 31st, here we go. Get ready. $88 million and $359 million in principal. You can't default on principal, folks. It's different than interest. But if there's ever a date you want to know, guess what? We already know that April is when Macron's up for re-election. That's important for 6 stimulus. Here we go. April 4th. Vladimir Putin has $45 million of interest payments due and $2 billion of principal. Yeah, it's very serious. If there was ever a day that you would think that maybe the war would settle, that there would actually be an end of the war, maybe it's April 3rd, because Vladimir Putin, where is he going to get the $2 billion on that principal? He doesn't have it. Here's the quote. At the moment, according to Timothy Ash, Senior Emerging Market Sovereign Strategist at Blue Bay Asset Management, at the current situation, the Ministry of Finance for Putin says they're able to pay. Sure, it's interest payments, but as we get further out, it gets a little bit more problematic, absolutely. So if Putin goes under on April 4th with that $2 billion of debt default, principal, and interest, you can only imagine what's going to happen to the U.S. economy. You can only imagine what could happen to our U.S. banks. And can we imagine? No, we don't know. We don't know. It's very serious. Tonight on Evenings LA, I'll feature more about the China part of the equation. I featured last night. China went to 7 hours of negotiations last night with the White House, our trade ambassador, and they came to no agreement. This is very problematic after new report says that China has been approached by Vladimir Putin to give him money to battle going under. And that would be taking sides of this war. The White House responded to it by saying they'll go after China. Is that more sanctions? I'll feature that more tonight on Amy's LA. But first, let's go back to 6 stimulus. So what is 6 stimulus for? It's for all this. Because we can't do any of this. We can't survive through any of this. We will go under. We will suffer a recession. We will suffer a recession of a magnitude you've never seen for 2 years if we don't solve the gas, we don't solve the wheat, we don't solve the banking, we don't solve the China part of the equation. And guess what? We just have about 7 weeks to go on this. That's why April is really the key date for the 6 stimulus. It's going to be the biggest stimulus package you've ever seen in the history of this channel, which brings us back to that $80,000 of checks. I want to go over my commentary on that in just a second. But first, let's go over, as WR said in the live chat, 3rd stimulus. If you're a renter or a homeowner, you can get both. Renters and homeowners, tune in. Here we go. It's also in the membership newsletter. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority. your county and your county house authority to get this money for renters and homeowners. And how much? The average viewer of this channel is getting $45,000. The keywords you say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. Also, reach out to all 6 places, get multiple applications to file, and do multiple rounds. And rely on the nonprofits. Open that membership newsletter. It's featured in there, along with the $80,000 of checks. And rely on the nonprofits. They help with home repairs as well. Finally, the average viewer of this channel has gotten $45,000. Don't wait and get this big sums of money. You want to do it right today. You want to get the $80,000. And if you're a renter or a homeowner, you want to get third stimulus as well. Don't wait, get these big sums of money. Get them right now. And with that, let me go back into those $80,000 of checks with my commentary, which you're hearing for the first time on this channel. It's very important, and I'm not going to cover it again on Mornings Out Loud. This is the only time you're ever going to hear it. So if you're tuning in, good. If you're not tuning in and you missed it, well, share it with a friend. I'll feature it tonight on Evenings Out Loud as well. Here is a very interesting thing that I want to go over. Actually, I want to go over 2 items. It happened last night in our new hit show, Sunset LALATE at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. There was 2 commentaries that came in from viewers in the live chat, and I engaged with them because I wanted it as a learning experience for them and for you. Then another thing happened after that. I want to go over all these things with you starting right now. During that live chat on Sunset LALATE, there was first a member. So a member who had gotten the newsletter. And the member wrote the following in the live chat. She wrote the following. As to these $80,000 of checks, she wrote, most states require you to be behind on your payments. And that includes my state of Tennessee, is what she wrote. So guess what you think what I did? I think you know exactly what I did. While she wrote that, I went right to the Tennessee website. How did I do it? I'm a member as well. I clicked the membership link. I went right into the website, which routed me then to Tennessee. I opened up the application. And guess what? It didn't say that. It didn't say you have to be behind on your money in Tennessee to qualify. So immediately I asked the viewer, I said, hey, I just went to the Tennessee website, as you do as a member, and it doesn't require that. Why did you just say that? The member didn't respond. Here's what you need to know. The member was wrong for her state, and she was wrong for most states. But that's not the reason I'm using her as a learning example. I want to use her as a learning example because she was running this narrative, which I'm starting to see, which I don't want to see anymore, the no narrative. Some people like to just say no. No, I don't qualify. No, because of no. Guess what happened right after she wrote that? Another person was on the live chat who is not a member. And he says, I don't qualify for that $80,000. I said, why not? He says, I'm a renter. No problem. I have renter's money for you. Third stimulus. Just as like WR said in the live chat of this video right now. You can get third stimulus. The viewer said, no, I don't qualify. I said, why don't you qualify? He said, I'm in Missouri. I don't qualify. There's no money in Missouri. I said, yeah, there is. Go get it. Here's what I want to know. And here's what I want to tell you. Here's what I want to show you. Is that no is a very bad sickness. And the more you say no, the more you believe no. And sometimes it circulates and sometimes it stops. Day 1 of this channel, guess what video I made? It was a video which to this day is the most watched video of this channel and the most watched video ever in financial news. 3 million views for one video. What was the video about? If the video was about the first stimulus check months after it had gone out, and it was to tell people on SSI, SSDI, Social Security that they qualify for it. Why did I make the video? Because at the time I had seen viewers say, I don't qualify for it. Someone had told someone along the way that no was their landscape. So I made the video to say, no, you qualify for it. Go get it. They're so happy. 3 million viewers. Since then, in the last few days, I've seen some people who just like to say no. And they say no in a way that hurts themselves and hurts other people. In the case of that Tennessee viewer, she qualified for it. She should have gotten that application file. I don't know why. Maybe she didn't look at the website clearly. But guess what? When she wrote that no statement, she was trying to sway everyone in that crowded chat room with 300, 400, 800 people not to apply. No, that person in Missouri, trying people not to apply. No, it's a sickness, and the sickness needs to stop. The sickness needs to stop because you qualify. Go get the money. In the time that you said no, guess what happened? 500 people got in front of you in a line in Tennessee to go get the money before you. You were so occupied with saying no that you forgot to apply. All right, the second thing, slightly different. I can teach you about how to get to money. I can teach you where to get money. I can teach you where to get the money, but I can't teach you something. I can't teach you how to use the computer. I cannot teach you how to use the internet. And I got to tell you, in coming to this channel, you have to bring a skill set. But if you don't know how to use the computer, if you don't know how to use the internet, if you don't know how to use your phone, I can't help you. You need to immediately go to the neighbor and get the neighbor's son to help you. You need to call your granddaughter or call your nephew to help you. Let me give you an example. When you go to apply for the $80,000, it's going to tell you, give me a document. If you don't know how to give them a document on your phone, on your computer, then you need to ramp up your skill set. You can do it. It's very simple. Let me give you an example. For example, the phone. If it needs to send you if you need to send them a document, you take a picture of the document with your phone and then send them the picture. If you don't know how to do that, you need to get someone to help you. I'm not here to do that for you. I can't do it for you. Moreover, if you don't know how to go to a website on your computer and upload the document, you need someone to get that for you. I can't do that for you. Why am I making this statement to you? In the last 2 days, I am getting upwards of 35 messages an hour for me to teach people how to use their computer, how to use their phone. I can't do that. In some cases, it's actually worse. Let's go over this. The membership newsletter is delivered via the YouTube alert system Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The YouTube alert system is how you may have gotten an alert about this video. The YouTube alert system is automated. It's not manually done. There are thousands of members. But what happened yesterday? Of those many messages that have nothing to do but ask me how to teach people how to use a computer, someone sent me a message that read like this. At 6:45, and yes, you can smile as well, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the person sent me a message saying, I demand you to send me the membership newsletter right now. I haven't got to it yet today. The membership newsletter is sent out 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, not at 6:45. Now let's understand, it's sent out via computer system, automated. Those computers, they're wonderful. They do automation. Do you think my finger goes like this thousands of times at 7 o'clock to send the letter to the membership newsletter to every person? No, it's sent via computer automated system, via YouTube. I don't have this finger pushing the button thousands of times every night at 7 o'clock. So that for that viewer who wanted me to send her a special copy 15 minutes early, no, not happening. Here's what's also not happening. I have to do this to prepare to go on camera, to help people get money. Viewers need help to get money. For that viewer who wanted me to send her a private personal message of the newsletter 15 minutes early, she wants me to take away this time, which I have to do to help people, to help her to get something 15 minutes early. Not happening. So tone it down. Tone it down. For the people who want to learn how to use a computer, who want to learn how to use a phone, I'm not here for that, nor the community volunteers. For people who want to make threats or demands like, give me a copy of it 15 minutes ahead of time, get lost. We're not here for that type of talk. You need to tone it down. This is a loving community where we are here to help people. You're not here to come in with those demands or talk in that tone. You're also not to ramp it up like that. People need to tone it down. Finally, the no's. Stop it. Stop it with the no's. There is money for the $80,000 across the land. Let me laugh about it because I got to laugh with you as well. When I first showed this map on the first time, which is about 3 days ago, people saw the color pink. Now, does pink evoke no? Where did pink become no? Immediately I started getting messages, I'm pink. I mean, that's no money because I'm pink. My state is pink. Let's pull up the map. Let's pull up the map. It just, here we go. Pink. People are sending messages. My state is pink. I'm not getting any money. See, they don't care. Ohio doesn't care. Nevada doesn't care. Mississippi doesn't care. There's no money. Where did pink turn in the color? Where did pink become the no color? Where did pink become the no color? It's not like it's black with Mitch's face through it. It's not like there's a lobster in the color in the sea. Suddenly, people invoked pink to be no. Finally, sirloin. People have asked for sirloin to come back. I think he should come back, so he will be coming back shortly. He's been busy. He's been eating all the wheat. That's why there's a shortage of wheat as well. So he will be back. Meantime, join me next at noontime at 11 a.m. We'll have more about this breaking news. And of course, we have a brand new Afternoons LATE at 3 o'clock, and then Evenings LATE in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have a lot of breaking news tonight, folks, so you do not want to miss that video. First, we have the breaking news of what's happening at that FOMC meeting at the time of this recording. I'll have the latest details tonight in prime time. Will Jay Powell give us indications of what he's doing for April that will give us indications of what could happen with that SSI and SSDI, that SS300, number one. Number two, we'll hopefully have a little bit more insight of what happened at that 7-hour meeting between the United States and China yesterday. This is big because it impacts the sixth stimulus. We have a little bit more insight about what is going on with that Russian default. And is Lazaroff right about that oil negotiations for Iran back on? Or is that rumor? I'm going to investigate the situation and have the update for you. This is sixth stimulus. Then we'll have more updates about what the White House is doing potentially with that CR add-on later this week. Maybe we'll have that by tonight on Evenings LA. Plus, we'll have the latest details unfolding about Build Back Better Act, about MSC, about those $80,000 of checks. I'll recheck the map as well to see if the map has had more shades now of teal. Remember, teal means paying out and receiving applications. Pink means receiving applications. And everywhere else, watch your state. Check every few hours. You don't want to wait till your state turns to teal. You want to get the application on file as soon as they accept the application. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, keep on staying motivated. We have that threat of recession. And that's why we need all these sums of money across the board. Stay informed, stay focused. I'll see you next at 11 a.m. with Noontime, Home Edition. I stand with stimulus. I stand with Ukraine. And why sixth stimulus is heating up. A lot of breaking news in that recording. Stay informed, stay focused. Stay here and stay with Ally for more.